And at this point, you close the door because there are two more big colossal rats laying here waiting for her to eat them, and she's just about done with this one. So you don't want the door open. You don't want your hands in an enclosure when there are other feeders laying around for them to pick up, especially when they're this close to done. Good girl, Nosey. I'm psyched. Nosey and Grumpy. This is her third one. Grumpy's already eaten his 3 colossals today. Like I said, I eat up their food before October because they slow down eating in the winter time, so I want to be sure they have plenty in them for the winter months ahead. And our winter starts dropping, or what temps go down in October. And that's when most of my pythons go off food. So just to make sure they got plenty in them before winter, I start feeding them heavy. Usually I don't do it until September, October, but they didn't eat that many last month, so I figured I'd give them an extra. So they got 3 colossals each today. There's my girl Nosey. You gonna hide it from me, or are you gonna come over here with me? Hey, Mama. She must know she's a pretty girl. Yes, she is. She's a pretty girl. My gentle giants, I love them to death. Isn't that good? Is that a good rat? Is that a good rat? Yes, ma'am, it is. Thank you very much. Look how pronounced her jaw hinges with the bones up on top of her head are from her jaws. Her joints are huge. Isn't that good, huh? So yes, it is. That's a good dinner, Mom. 3 great colossal rats today. Nosey and Grumpy, and neither one of them had a bad day. They were very calm and very relaxed while they were eating. Very proud of them. All the handling they've had growing up has really paid off since they got this big, because they're really not at all mean snakes. They're very social animals. I have my hands in here a lot, really, petting them and spending time with them. So they're used to my being around them when they're eating. It doesn't intimidate them. She's a good girl. Yes, she is. Grumpy, you don't need another one. You already ate your 3, you piggy. Grumpy's on the bottom level. They separate on their own when they're ready to eat. That's how I know when they're hungry. And they'll separate on their own. One of them will go to the bottom floor and they'll stay there and won't come back up until I close the trap door. And I close the trap door, and one will stay on the top floor, which is their basking floor. That's why it's wire coated, because this is their basking floor for the sunshine during the day and UV rays. But they'll separate and they'll stay there and sit there until I feed them. I close the trap door and feed them and let them cool down for a couple hours, and I'll open the trap door, and the one's on the bottom, which today is Grumpy, and usually he's on top. So this is different today. He chose the bottom floor to eat on instead of the top one, but yeah, I'll unlock the trap door and open it up in a couple hours, and they'll go back together up on the top floor. Good girl. I can turn your fan back on. I don't like the fan blowing when they're eating because it distracts them. Look at that mouth. My goodness, what a mouth you got. I know what a mouth she's got. I had it wrapped around my left forearm quite a few years ago. Never want to do that again. That's a good girl. She did good today. Yes, she did. Big stretch. I love these guys to death. They're so awesome. Usually before she gets to the very end of it, I close the door and have my hands out just to be safe. In the event that they're still looking for more. You don't want to be on the receiving end of a feeding bite from one of these big snakes. It's no fun at all. I've never done it. I've never had one for feeding, during the feeding. I always wet my hands down with cold water before I offer them food. And that way they don't pick up on my heat signature and confuse me for their food. So that's an advantage for people that raise snakes. Run your hands under cold water so your snake won't pick up on your body temperature instead of the feeders. It's quick, it's easy, and it's free, and it's cheap. And it can save you from getting bit. Okay, Mom, I'll close the door and let you finish up. You did good today. Yes, you did. You did good.